Have a good night, everybody. For those listening locally to our flagship station, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, stay tuned for Between the Pipes with Alex Ryan, and Mark Springer. For the rest of you, we'll see you on Tuesday right here on the Altitude Radio Network.
This has been the Avalanche Aftermath Postgame Show with Mark Bertinoli.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Network producers are Jesse Trujillo, Alan Baca, Steve Nelson, Mark Springer, Jordan Berg, Dan Tanner, and Cole Smith. Network creative director is Marky Lindemulder. Network production director is Steve Cassidy. Traffic directors are Megan Rose and Tik Tantiwangumpai. Network sales manager is Dan Stores. Network director is Kevin Shockey. Chief network engineer is Jason Gorodetzer. Senior vice president of the Altitude Radio Network is Dave Fleck.
You want a hard-working team? There it is right there.
This broadcast was a presentation of the National Hockey League and the Altitude Radio Network.
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Colorado Avalanche post-game coverage continues now with Between the Pipes. Presented by Safeway. Download the Safeway app and get exclusive grocery offers and perks. Fresh foods, local flavors. Now, let's go Between the Pipes with Alex Ryan-Emmy and Mark Springer.
And try not to force it. And so again, Drouin will go back to the neutral zone. Off of Chris Letang. Now McCarr for Drouin. He's got a move towards the net. Drouin! He scores! How you, Drouin! Like Lazarus, the Avalanche have come back from the dead! And you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here because this party is over! The winning streak is alive at 9 games at home. It's alive at 6 games. The Avalanche continue to be the most red, white, hot, ridiculously good team in the National Hockey League. What patience from Drouin, an assist, 2 goals, and he helps the Avalanche complete the comeback. Final score in overtime, Colorado 5 and Pittsburgh 4.
A matinee to remember on Sunday. The Avs win their 9th straight, and they sit atop the Central Division with 97 points. 5-4 is the final, the third 4-goal comeback in Avalanche history. They were down 4-0 during the second period of play today. Pittsburgh had everything going the first 20 minutes. Colorado started to find its way back into the game for the first 5-10 minutes of that second period. They score too late in that second period of play to go down 4-2 into the third period. It was all Avs from that point on. Nathan MacKinnon, a 3-point night. He becomes the highest scoring Avalanche player in a single season with 122. He passes Joe Sakic's previously held mark at 120 points. He extends the home point streak to 34 games, and the Avs off of a game winner, a 3-point evening, a 2-goal afternoon rather for Jonathan Drouin. 5-4 is the final as we welcome you here to Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5, Denver's exclusive home for Avalanche hockey. I'm your host, Alex Ryan-Emmy. You guys know me better as Raj, joined as always by my co-host, earning his nickname, the Radio Machine, Mark Springer, producing the game, producing the show. This thing was toast, Spring. 15, 25 minutes into this game, the Avs were left for dead against a Pittsburgh team that will not make the playoffs. That is we'll call them an average team. And Sidney Crosby was doing vintage Sidney Crosby things. The Avs didn't have an answer. And then we realized what they can do this year. They can outscore any problem they create for themselves.
You know, I've been meaning to say, whether it be on this show, on the Blitz, because the Avs have been red hot. They stay red hot. And, pre-trade deadline, I thought they were one of, if not the best team in hockey, even pre-trade deadline. Certainly right in that conversation. Then the trade deadline comes and passes, adding Middlestat and Walker. Okay, that's the best team on paper. They're playing like the best team. But what I've been meaning to say is even the best team in hockey, okay, they're not going to win out. It's just not going to happen. They're going to drop at least one more game the rest of the way, and could be to a weaker team. Could be to a team you wouldn't expect. Perhaps it looked like that was going to be the day. Like, this was just the day. They're down 4-0. Sidney Crosby still breathes on the other side of that ice. Just felt like maybe it was that day where they were just going to get got. And yes, Pittsburgh is an average team. They're as average can be. I mean, they come out of tonight 30-30-10. That's average. But maybe a sense of desperation, a sense of, hey, Sid, let me show my little brother I'm still big brother, even though your team's better on paper. No, this team's just too good. This team's just too good on their home ice. And at the end of the day, 4 goals was not enough. It's just going to take a better team. If the Avs brought that effort in the first half of the game against, the Rangers who come to town, the Nashville who comes to town later in this trip, you might not get the 4-goal comeback. But when you're really good, when you're stacked like the Avs are, it was just like it was all Avs in the third period. It was just, can they get the chances? Can they get the looks? Can they finish it off? And they did, Raj. They did.
Avs currently sit at 97 points, 1 point behind New York, who they'll see this week on Thursday, 1 point behind the Vancouver Canucks, both of which tied atop the league standings for the President's Trophy at 98. It doesn't feel like Colorado's pushing for this, right? There's a different feel than it was 3 years ago when they won the President's Trophy and they were the best team in the league by a mile. It did feel as though that there was a little bit of a push to go and get that. I know that they're red hot. They've won 9 straight. You could argue that they're the hottest team in the league. I would think that Nashville has something to say about that, having won 13 of 15 and getting points in 15 straight. I actually think it's 16 straight now with points and having won 14 of those 16 games. It does not feel, despite going on this tear and being at the top of the division, that they are pushing to get there. It just feels as though that they made the requisite moves at the trade deadline. Things are starting to gel. You know what? It feels like that tear that the Nuggets went on a few seasons ago when they traded for Aaron Gordon and they looked untouchable. And then obviously I'm not going to mention what happened shortly after that led to the Nuggets not being able to compete in the playoffs. But that's what it feels like. They made the right moves. It's gelling. And now this is a team that, again, yeah, you can start off slow against an average team and come back from 4 goals down. They did start slow against other teams in this 9-game win streak. Like Edmonton, you started slow. Vancouver, you started slow. And those are 2 teams that could feasibly win the West, right? They can outscore their problems on any night. And that has to be a wonderful feeling in that room, that you go down 2, you go down 3. Fellas, we got this.
It felt today when they were down 4-0. Berto said it when he was in here. We were watching the game. He said, it's something along the lines of Nathan MacKinnon's home point streak's coming to an end today. It's coming to an end today. And then he got an assist, a goal, and then an assist in overtime. So when it looked like maybe it was going to come to an end, he finishes with 3 points. Like the MVP, though, of this game, and hey, shout out to a couple new guys. Sean Walker, his 3rd goal as an Av. Got them back in it, made it 4-1. Yakov Trenin off of a Brandon Duhaime shot, so 2 new guys right there. Those cut the lead in half, cut the deficit in half, made it from 4-0 to 4-2 all of a sudden going to the third period. And then, look, Nathan MacKinnon was amazing. He's been amazing all season long. That's your Hart Trophy winner. The MVP today was Jonathan Drouin.
Sure was.
And back up on that top line, that was an adjustment in the back half of that game. Drouin goes up and plays with Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. Valeri Nichushkin, Arturi Lehkonen are the wings around Casey Middlestat on the second line. By the way, I mean, what a second line that is. I've talked of late of how, MacKinnon, Rantanen, and whether it's Nichushkin, Lehkonen, or Drouin today, whoever it is, that's the best line in hockey. What a second line with Middlestat, Nichushkin, Lehkonen. But Jonathan Drouin, the chemistry with his boy, Nathan MacKinnon, the prophecy has truly been fulfilled. It was what we talked about in the offseason, that they're friends. They played together in juniors for the Halifax Mooseheads. Was it? What's their history, Raj? Am I correct in that?
You are correct.
And both of them cross-ice assists to the other on one-time shots. Drouin on the right side, McKinnon on the left side. Those were your 2 third-period goals. And then the OT winner from Drouin. I mean, the fact that you can move Drouin anywhere in this lineup, including the top line, and he can perform like that, I mean, it's unreal.
Remember what I said at the beginning of the season. If Drouin isn't a top-line player, I don't think he has a place on the team. And credit to him, he's resurrected his career to the point where the only hope that Avs fans have for Jonathan Drouin being in Colorado for the future is that Drouin realizes, I have Nathan MacKinnon. The best years of my hockey career have been when I play with Nathan MacKinnon. That's the only hope Avs fans have for retaining Drouin into the future, because the dude's playing himself into a $5.5 million average annual contract, right? He's 28 years old right now. You're going to want a long-term deal. You don't want to bridge it. You don't want to take the risk of you regressing, and someone's going to pay him, right? Someone will pay that player $5.5 million over the course of 5, 6, 7 seasons to be a second-line forward for them. The only chance you have is Drouin. He loves it here in Colorado. His family, like his kid, his dog, his wife, the family loves it here. And you have to hope that he looks at Nate and goes, while I've resurrected my career, can I do this without him? And if the answer is no, you might get the hometown discount that keeps him here for years, because he fits like a glove. And again, credit to him for not being a one-trick pony. You can slot him in anywhere on first, second, or third line, and you can trust him to score, you can trust him to produce, and you can trust him to not be a black hole defensively, which was the issue that he had in Tampa Bay and Montreal, was the effort issue. You know what happens? He goes to Colorado, and the biggest lunatic in the National Hockey League is leading the team in points. Nathan MacKinnon. He's a psychopath. You imagine slacking off with Nathan MacKinnon in the locker room? The guy will bite your head off. No wonder why Jonathan Drouin he's a complete hockey player. He was the best guy on the ice tonight. Coach said it. You said it. You're right.
He did it all. The one-time shot off the MacKinnon feed. It's funny because he's going. This is still Nedeljkovic in net at this point, right? And he thinks that it's going to go short side, and Drouin, I think, maybe actually accidentally mishits it and hits it a little far side, but it ends up working out perfectly. Still, just put that thing on net, and you never know what happens. So good job by Drouin on, and those cross-ice feeds for MacKinnon come in hot. So to put it on net is really all you can ask for in that situation. And then he feeds MacKinnon for the game-tying goal. It's a perfect pass from Drouin, just mirroring the MacKinnon pass from earlier in the period, and then him cutting to the net to score the game-winning goal. He did it all. I mean, it's every little facet you want to see. He did it all today. I don't know how you keep Drouin, Sean Walker. I don't know how you keep them both when you have to pay Casey Middlestat. Mikko Rantanen is up after next season, so you got to keep that in mind. I don't know how you do it.
It's a problem for another day.
Let's just reap the benefits right now.
It is a problem for another day. Drouin continues to impress this year. He's got 14 goals in the season, 32 assists on the year. MacKinnon, 44 goals, 78 assists. Cale Makar gets his 60th helper of the year. The Avs come back after down by 4 in the second period. Spring, you know when I knew they were going to win this game? It's when the lunatic almost snapped his stick over the boards with a second and a half remaining in the second period. When the Avs were down 4-2, they had just gotten the Yakov Trenin goal, which was off the stick of Duhaime, hits Trenin in the back, goes past Nedeljkovic to make it 4-2, keep them within in shouting distance. Under 5 seconds to go, MacKinnon splits the D, gets around, I want to say it was Pierre-Olivier Joseph, right, on the D side, and Joseph hooks him. And he looks at the referee like he's going to kill him. And at that point, I went, yeah, Pittsburgh's not ready for this. Mm-hmm. There's not a single player outside of Letang and Malkin on that team that have seen that type of fire, because Sidney Crosby had it when he was younger. And Sid might not have it now outwardly. He certainly has the passion to be one of the best players in the game. But Sid was that type of crazed, that driven player young in his career. And MacKinnon looks at the referee, two ends his stick across the boards, and I went, they're going to win the hockey game.
Well, and this was just a game of destiny. This McKinnon home point streak is a thing of destiny because now he already had it sealed with the assist to Drouin that made it 4-3, but his game-tying goal, Nathan McKinnon's 44th goal of the season, tied it at 4-4. That's a thing of destiny right there. And then the fact that Alex Nedeljkovic, who was having a very good game, and he made some crazy saves in this one, some lucky saves too, it felt like, but he has an equipment issue, and he has to come out, and Tristan Jarry comes in for like 30 seconds, and that's when McKinnon scores the one-timer, and Jarry, it looked like a guy who just came off the pine. It looked like a guy who was moving slow, who hadn't even stretched. So it was just in the cards. It's just the way it was supposed to go. And we should have just known. It was never in doubt when they were down 4-0.
You should have known. And again, it is the main separating factor, and we've said this for years now, between McKinnon and the rest of the superstars in this league, between McKinnon and Kucherov, between McKinnon and McDavid, between McKinnon and Matthews, Panarin, Pasternak, even his own teammate in Mikko Rantanen. The one separating factor that he has over all of those guys, who all of them have unbelievable skill sets, not one of them has a snap factor like Nathan McKinnon does. Not one of those players hates to lose more than Nathan McKinnon does. And it's going to drive the Avs to another Stanley Cup championship.
Oh, and this performance today, they did it on national TV. So I don't want to hear East Coast journalists, analysts.
You watched it.
Talking heads. You better have been tuned in today. This was 2 p.m. Eastern, noon Mountain.
You watched it.
It was right there for you. Yeah.
Between the Pipes, presented by Safeway. It's got everything you need for your Easter celebration. Find spiral sliced ham, fresh spring flowers, and candy for your Easter baskets. Shop in-store or on the Safeway app now. Alex Ryan, Mark Springer. It's Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Columbus, Hastings, and DMAC are hooking you up with another incredible Vegas trip. It's the Green Jacket Getaway. You and a guest are going to take in the Masters Tournament at the Circa Resorts and Casino, Las Vegas. We've got your airfare, a 3-night stay at Circa, a day bed at the legendary Stadium Swim, limo to and from the airport.
All right.
Beginning Monday at noon. Listen for keywords to text and enter. You can also put in an extra entry at altitudesportsradio.com.
Oh, dude, this is amazing.
Daily winners will grab $50 gift cards to GQ Barbecue, PhD's Green Jacket Getaway. Just another reason to keep your radio out of the sand trap. And on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Every Wednesday morning at 8, Mosher, Lombardi, and Kane bring you the Jared Bednar Show, brought to you by Quantum Fiber and Premier Members Credit Union.
I was asked the question, how hard are you going to chase the division? It gets you home ice. It's still going to get you a really tough opponent. Like the last wild card spot, the last time I looked at it was Las Vegas. It's not an ideal first-round matchup. Again, not going to empty the tank, but we're going to play to win and hopefully finish at the top of this thing.
To hear more, search for the Altitude Sports Radio Jared Bednar Show podcast.
Crazy to think of everything that's happened in the last 25 years, but one thing that's remained as consistent as ever is Plumline Services. From Fort Collins to Castle Rock, Plumline Services has been earning the trust of Coloradans with plum-crazy service and pricing on plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, and drain cleaning. Plumline and Carrier. Turn to the experts. Schedule your service online at plumlineservices.com. For 25 years and counting, Plumline Services, partnering with great brands like Carrier. Service at home, servants at heart.
The Altitude Authentics team store is the place to go for the best selection of Colorado Avalanche gear.
One-timer from Dave. He scores! It's a taser from Taser!
From hats and t-shirts to your favorite players' jerseys and more, Authentics has the best gear at the best prices.
Saved by Georgiev! That's as good as a glove save gets.
Can't get to Ball Arena? Check out AltitudeAuthentics.com for 24-hour shopping.
Hi, welcome to IKEA and our spring storage event.
Oh, hi.
Save big on storage with lots of new lower prices and limited time offers.
Perfect. I'm making the winter to spring swap and I have no idea where to put my sweaters and gloves.
We can help you get organized and store winter away. And we've got in-store events for more inspiration.
Sign me up.
Visit us in-store from 320 to 49 or at IKEA-USA.com/IKEA Spring Storage for more details. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and IKEA-USA.com/IKEA Spring Storage for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
If you've lived in Colorado for a minute, you know all about the March weather. Has a plethora of personalities. In a single day, you can meet windy, rainy, sunny, snowy, sleety, and if you're lucky, sleepy, dopey, and bashful. Hi, I'm Alan Roach for my friends at Johnson Auto Plaza. The Johnsons specialize in trucks and SUVs that'll get you where you're going no matter the weather. And now that Ram Truck Month has arrived, you get the best deals of the year on a new Ram truck. A truck that'll handle all the weather Colorado can throw at you. Johnson Auto Plaza has a huge inventory to choose from. Stop by the store or jump online at johnsonautoplaza.com and see why Johnson Auto Plaza customers buy their first vehicle, their second vehicle, their third vehicle, and you get the point. Johnson Auto Plaza, where first-time buyers become lifetime customers every day. Just north of E470 on Highway 85, johnsonautoplaza.com.
Hang right there. Denver's Sports Talk is coming back on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Sometimes, if we're lucky, our love stories start when we're young. For Monica and Steven, it was love at first sight. Married when she was just 18 and he was 19.
Together, they built a life and family from nothing but that love and a lot of hard work.
15 years and 5 kids later, Steven came into Williams Jewelers.
Back then, I didn't have the money to give her the diamond she deserved, he told us with a laugh. But now, I do.
So together, we created Monica's dream ring to mark that moment 15 years ago when she said yes.
So whether love has come early or late in your life, it's that love that matters most to us. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Shayna Williams from Williams Jewelers of Inglewood. And it's for these precious moments in time, the moments that change everything, that we love what we do.
And we are here for you.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
On the corner of Bellevue and Broadway, where Colorado shines.
Colorado Avalanche Hockey, you're Between the Pipes. Presented by Safeway on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
As missing there, O'Connor for the rest of the season. O'Connor right up the middle. Puck rolls in on Georgiev. Side of the net, Cale Makar. Thrown down to the ice away from the play by Brian Rust. Makar back to life. Taves brings it up the middle. He's got Drouin with him. Jonathan Drouin at the circle. All the way over. McKinnon! He scores! Oh my! McKinnon! Nathan McKinnon with a perfectly placed one-timer against the Pittsburgh Penguins. With 4:38 to go in the third period, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is a tie hockey game. Points to the sky in a fist bump. 121 on the season, and once again, he's coming for Kucherov. The Avalanche have scored 4 straight goals, and we're back to square one.
Nathan McKinnon outduels fellow Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia native Sidney Crosby, who had a 4-point afternoon of his own at Ball Arena. 122 points, now the most in a single season in Avalanche history. He breaks his own president of hockey operations record, Joe Sakic, set back in 1995-96. The Avs still have 11 games remaining. The franchise record held by Peter Stastny, 139 points. As a member of the Quebec Nordiques, Nathan McKinnon is on a 1.72 point per game pace this season through 71 games. 11 remain. He is on pace for 140.92 points this year. If he keeps it up, just goes average. Just plays Nathan McKinnon average, which is a gross understatement as to what the actual level of his play is. He's going to do it. He's going to post a 140-point season, which is, I never thought I'd see the day an Avalanche player would put up those numbers.
Let's see. MT on the text line says, I'm trying to savor every minute of Nate's season. These types of seasons don't come around very often.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't. Think about it. It's the best season in Avs history. And maybe he'll catch Peter Stastny. I tend to think he will. He's just on one.
He just has to play his season average, and he will pass it by a point. But assuming he plays every game.
But even just in Avs history, not even in Avs Nordique's history, but even just in Avs history, like 11 games to go, and he's passed Sakic for the best point total season in Avs history. So, but it's not even just the numbers. Like, when you think of the seasons that Sakic and Forsberg have had with the Avs, and what Nate is doing this season, and the seasons that Nate has had himself before this season, it kind of snuck up out of nowhere. I don't think coming into the season we were necessarily expecting this from him.
I mean, he was stellar last year.
He's been stellar for the past 5 years. But even I'm surprised to a degree. Even though I'm not surprised, I am also surprised.
He played 71 games last season, finished with 111 points. He now has played 71 games this year and has 122. He has 2 more goals than he scored of all season last year. Sorry, 1 more goal. No, 2 more goals than he scored in all of last season. He has nearly 10 assists more at this point. I wouldn't say I don't know if I could say I saw 120 points coming, but if he plays 82 games on that pace, he was going to shatter it. And he has.
Is it official?
I think he needs, wins.
Is he the best? Has he, he passed Joe's season? Is he, I've kind of just always viewed that Joe's the best skater in Avs history.
Yeah, he's top. You could make the argument that Sakic is a top 15 player of all time. Maybe top 10, depending on how you bring in the leadership aspect of it. And then if you also bring in his post-playing career, then he skyrockets up that list.
Joe won 2 cups. Nate's won 1.
Joe won, 2 cups.
If Nate gets this cup, it's over.
He has the MVP in 01, so Nate is on the way to winning an MVP this year. He does not have an Art Ross, so if Nate leads the league in points, he would have an Art Ross. You would assume he would win the Ted Lindsay Award, which was then the Lester B. Pearson Award in 2000-2001, which is the MVP voted upon by the NHL's Player Association. He has a Lady Byng, which is, again, I've called the guy a lunatic 4 times on the show already. It's the funniest thing in Nathan MacKinnon's career is him winning a Lady Byng trophy. So he's got 1. All of the accolades have been crossed off. The only thing he needs to do is win 1 more cup and win a playoff MVP, and he'll have done everything that Joe Sakic has, short of winning an Olympic gold medal, which he'll have the opportunity to do in 2028.
I haven't even actively been thinking about it, but I suppose now that I am, more subconsciously, I've just kind of default thought over the past however many years, despite how great Nathan MacKinnon has been, that, but Joe's the best player.
Joe had 1,641 points in 1,378 regular season games.
And now out of nowhere with this season that Nate has had, I'm just like, no. Is Nate the best player in franchises? And he's not
there yet. He's not there yet. He's knocking on the door.
Oof.
He's not there yet. I will put him in it's amazing for me to say this. I say he's the second best skater in Avs history. He's the second best skater. Right now, he is the second best skater in Avs history. We will remove Patrick Waugh from the conversation because he's a singular position, right? He's a goaltender. He's arguably the greatest to ever play between the pipes is Patrick Waugh. He's better. MacKinnon is better than Forsberg at this point, simply because Forsberg just could never stay healthy, never had the longevity, and I think they are so similar as hockey players. Their ability to play with physicality and with power in and around the net. I think they're very similar hockey players, he and Forsberg, but Nate stays on the ice. And Nate has a speed burst that Peter never did. Although Forsberg had the hands in tight that Nate doesn't, right? Forsberg's hands inside of of 3.5 feet next to a defender are ridiculous. He did stuff with the puck on his stick that I don't think we've ever seen anyone else do. But I put Nate above Forsberg at this point.
Let me throw this at you. Nevada on the text line says, guys need to shoot and stop the extra passes. The first period PP and the 3-on-1 was awful. Take the opportunity. Is he referring to the 3-on-1 where Valeri Nichushkin, again, Valeri Nichushkin, for my money, is the best two-way player in hockey right now, and has been trending in that direction for the past.
Sid might be. You see the plays Sid made today as a 38-year-old?
And Sid's goal, too, was...
Or however old.
Sid's goal was amazing. That puck, that pass was coming in hot, and he was short, tight angle. For him to...
It's 38.
For him to chip that top shelf was insane.
Spring, I don't think people understand how difficult that is. Mikko does it. Mikko might be the second best player in the world at that weak side goal line tip. But that puck coming in it's got to come in at 70 miles an hour at least, maybe north of 80 a couple of times. Tipping that puck from outside your left hip across your body on a zero angle, not only to get it in the net is impossible. The fact that guys don't redirect those pucks into their beaks, into their teeth, is beyond me.
Yeah, no, and that made it 3-0, and it's a highlight reel goal. Like, put it on the reel. Although he's had several of those in his career, he makes it look so easy. And Sid, he's still very good. So if he's scoring a goal like that made it 3-0, and then they extend it to 4-0, like, I did think this thing was over. I did. Like, Sid scoring a goal like that, and they're going to lose en route to a 4-0 lead. Well, I guess they did lose. That's what happened. But okay, Nichushkin's right up there as far as two-way players. He strips Erik Karlsson in the neutral zone. He's on a tear of great forechecking type strips and gets a little 3-on-1. He's on the left side, and this is where this is where having that second line center is so nice, because there's Casey Middlestat occupying the center lane, and then Lekkonen's on the right side, and boy, is that dirty. And Nevada is suggesting maybe that this is overpassing. I didn't think so. This is tic-tac-toe, go where you're supposed to go. Nichushkin to Middlestat over to Lekkonen, and that pass was just a little bit off. But what I find interesting is those are 3 left-handed shots. I wonder, because Lecky being a left-handed shot didn't create the best angle for that one time on the right side. When you think about the top 6 for this team, 5 left-handed shots, only 1 right-handed shot in Nathan MacKinnon.
And he plays in the middle.
Mm-hmm. But it is weird with that second line. I mean, it's going to be 3 left-handed shots out there. But at the same time, they're so good. I think that's what screwed that 3-on-1 up, was simply 3 left-handed shots. I think if there was a right-handed shot on the right wing, that's a goal. As far as the overpassing in general goes, I mean,
isn't Drouin right-handed?
No, Drouin's
he's not.
lefty.
Drouin's a lefty.
He's lefty. Yeah, it's a lot of left-handed shots on this team from the forward and center positions. But regardless, I think that was to explain that maybe what looked to be overpassing there. Look, these dudes can zip it around. They are a great tape-to-tape team. Again, going back to the MacKinnon and Drouin goals, those cross-ice passes, Drouin to MacKinnon, MacKinnon to Drouin, I mean, do they overpass it sometimes? But one, it's going to keep these goaltenders moving. Even if you might be overpassing too much, it sets stuff up for later in the game, because these goaltenders have no idea where the puck can go at any given moment. And so you might overpass a little bit early in the game, but it pays off later in the game. And those cross-ice passes, MacKinnon to Drouin and vice versa, man, this team sometimes doesn't feel like too much, but it's pretty, and it can be effective, and it sets up some decoy opportunities.
RF Dean tweeting out on X, Jonathan Drouin, 14 goals, 31 assists, 45 points in his last 58 games. His buddy Nathan MacKinnon has 108 points in that same 58-game stretch. Which is well above double what Drouin's putting out. Like, that's how good this guy is. And I wouldn't say I'm getting raked on on Twitch right now about the McKinnon over Forsberg proclamation. But I do
No, dude, I'm with you. I'm with you. And it's simply, for me, it's just Forsberg didn't play enough games due to injury.
Again, Forsberg was unbelievable. And you'll always look at Peter Forsberg as, like, he played more than Bo Jackson, but he felt like Bo Jackson. He just did stuff that no one else could do.
Sure.
He did stuff that no one else did. He was who Eric Lindros was supposed to be, and he wasn't anywhere near as big as Eric Lindros was. But he was never healthy enough. That's what McKinnon's better.
And he never had a season like Joe Sakic did, and therefore he never had a season like Nathan McKinnon is currently having.
He had one season. Forsberg had one season in 95-96 where he put up 116 points. He put up 86 assists, which is the single-season record for the Avs. McKinnon now sits at 78. He very likely will pass that this year. 8 more assists in 11 games with how heavily the Avs are scoring.
He's a great passer.
Great passer. He's the best passer on the team, without a doubt. Either him or Kale, but it's probably Nate. Yeah, he's the second best player in Avs history. He is.
I mean, we all of a sudden have opened the door for him to finish his career with the Avs as the best player in franchise history. There's a lot of unwritten future, left to be seen. But the door has officially, like, it was cracked open. Now it's like ajar.
And again, the one thing that's always going to be, because of the success of this franchise, the one thing he will always have to do is, if Nate, of course he wants to do that, but he is driven, as most hockey players are, by team success. If he's going to be in the conversation, and if he's going to be anointed either best, second best, third best player in Avs history, to be number one, he at least has to win 2 cups. At least. And they're on the road to doing it, right? Nate's 28 years old, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Nate's 28. Joe won his second cup at age 31 and then never won another for the remaining 8 seasons that he had, or 8 seasons because of the lockout in 2003 that he had in his career. Nate's 3 years ahead of pace. He is. He is ahead of pace to be the best Avs player ever. And we're talking about Joe Sakic being the guy that he could leapfrog. This isn't the same conversation that we had with Nikola Jokic. There was not a nugget in the history of the franchise that is held in the same regard as Forsberg and Sakic are in the NHL. There isn't. Alex English, amazing player. Dan Issel, amazing player. Don't get me wrong. Guys never won championships. Alex English is not talked about as being one of the top 10, 15, 20 players in the history of the NBA. Joe Sakic is. Peter Forsberg is.
But Jokic has been on the level he's been on for a few years.
Probably 5 seasons.
Like, Nate has been really good, very good, very good. And then this season, now I'm viewing him in this Jokic light where it's like, oh my God. Like, because let's be honest, over the past few years, just individual player to individual player, Connor McDavid's been the best player in the league.
Yes.
But this season, man, Nathan McKinnon is truly playing on that level.
And McDavid's still doing ridiculous things. But again, I'll bring it back to what I said in the first segment. He doesn't have it. It's the reason why over the past 3 years, right? We can call Nathan McKinnon the level of Nate, and again, he's nuclear version of Nate McKinnon right now. You can go back to 2021, 2022 when the Avs won their first cup. He was 26 years old. He puts up 88 points in 65 games, right? Finishes second in the Conn Smythe voting that year when the Avs win the cup. That's the first year that I think we can look at Nathan McKinnon going, all right, you are now one of the top 5, top 3 players on the planet. I still think back in 21-22 when we asked the question, who would you rather start a playoff run with? McDavid wasn't the answer. If I wanted to take a regular season player, McDavid is my answer 7 days a week. But if I'm looking to win a cup, Nathan McKinnon is the first pick that I have. And I think I would have said that as early as 21-22 if we have to really dig through the archives.
Yeah, for me, it's been like, McKinnon wins the head-to-head over McDavid. McKinnon's teams played well in the playoffs. McDavid's did not. And so we could sit here and be like, yeah, I would take McKinnon over McDavid, even though there was part of me that was maybe lying about that a little bit. This season, though, like, it got real. It got real. Like, it was like 1A, 1B. Now, to me, it honestly is 1A, 1A. Like, McKinnon is right there with McDavid. Truly, for the first, like, right there.
Right. And you have to define the parameters of the conversation of best hockey player in the world. Because is it most skilled hockey player in the world? It's Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is the most skilled hockey player on the planet today.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that this season, Nate's playing like that as well.
He is. And he still has that extra level of intensity that I don't know if McDavid will ever have. And it will be the defining factor in the comparison between their two careers. If McDavid doesn't find that fire, if he doesn't find the ability to snap and be a psychopath on the ice, Nate will always get the best of him. That's if you define the parameters of best hockey player on the planet and you expand it past just skill set. It's Nate 100 times out of 100.
I guess I didn't realize that there was even just a half step next level to Nate's game. And he like I thought
he did.
I thought that like that was pretty much it. Like and there's nothing wrong with what Nate was. Very, very, really good. And yet he had another half step level that he unlocked this season, and now it's insane what he's doing.
The 3-3-2. It's like being a quarterback in Denver. We all understand the comparison. That's what Nate's going up against. He's going up against John Elway right now, right? That's who Joe Sakic is. He's John Elway. And he's well on his way. Avs complete a 4-goal comeback for the third time in franchise history. They did it in 99. They did it in 01. And they do it today. 5-4 overtime over Sidney Crosby's Pittsburgh Penguins. They sit at 97 points, number 1 in the Central Division, just 1 point behind the NHL's number 1 spot in the standings. He's Mark Springer. I'm Alex Ryan. We'll take you through the NHL, get you some scoreboard updates, some Bet the Pipes as well, as we send you off on a Sunday afternoon.
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. The sports you're talking about. And there's more next.
I got a nightmare phone call that no parent wants to receive.
Someone hit me going 60 miles an hour.
Dr. Ramos came highly recommended. When I showed him the x-rays, he immediately knew exactly what was wrong.
We've had a tremendous experience with Ramos Law. Really, I could not be happier.
Having the car accident was an accident. Finding Ramos Law was no accident.
Injured in a car accident? Ramos Law can help. RamosLaw.com.
McKinnon! He scores!
Avs faithful, do you want to take the first step in becoming a Colorado Avalanche season ticket member? Memberships are sold out at this time, so the best chance to get one is by placing your deposit and joining the A-List membership waitlist. The A-List membership provides exclusive member benefits, including pre-sale access to playoff tickets. Head to coloradoavalanche.com/waitlist to learn more.
If you've lived in Colorado for a minute, you know all about the March weather. Has a plethora of personalities. In a single day, you can meet windy, rainy, sunny, snowy, sleety, and if you're lucky, sleepy, dopey, and bashful. Hi, I'm Alan Roach for my friends at Johnson Auto Plaza. The Johnsons specialize in trucks and SUVs that'll get you where you're going no matter the weather. And now that Ram Truck Month has arrived, you get the best deals of the year on a new Ram truck. A truck that'll handle all the weather Colorado can throw at you. Johnson Auto Plaza has a huge inventory to choose from. Stop by the store or jump online at johnsonautoplaza.com and see why Johnson Auto Plaza customers buy their first vehicle, their second vehicle, their third vehicle, and you get the point. Johnson Auto Plaza, where first-time buyers become lifetime customers every day. Just north of E470 on Highway 85, johnsonautoplaza.com.
Where will you find her perfect engagement ring?
There's only one fine jeweler in Denver with all the world's top bridal designers. I'm Steve Williams.
And I'm Bruce Williams from Williams Jewelers. Only here in our bridal design gallery will you find Gabriel and Company, A. Jaffe, Hearts on Fire, and the legendary Tacori.
Thousands of diamond engagement rings, every style and every price range.
If it's on her Pinterest page, it's here.
Add to that our famous Williams Jewelers Diamond Bar with almost every size, shape, and price range diamond.
And our expert diamond professionals will help you put it all together perfectly.
At the guaranteed best price in Colorado. We even have flexible payment terms for qualified buyers, so you can do this today.
That's why more couples say, will you, with Williams.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers, where Colorado shines. In Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue between Fillmore and Detroit, and in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue.
Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
If you want to just rip on Sean Payton, I got plenty of ammo to do it.
More Denver sports talk in 60 seconds.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise that QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly.
I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
I'm super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced and regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics at 719-581-6626 for a free consultation. Locations in Superior, Aurora, and Colorado Springs. 719-581-6626.
Colorado Avalanche Hockey, you're Between the Pipes. Presented by Safeway on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
Between the Pipes as we wrap things up here on a Sunday evening. Late afternoon? What constitutes evening, Mark Springer?
I go 5.
So we're
like
not
when
quite
5
there.
hits, we get to the evening.
All right.
Well, I'd say late afternoon here.
Late afternoon. A matinee affair between the Avs and the Penguins. Pittsburgh got out to an early 4-0 lead, held that thing late into the second period. Avs score 2 goals late. They get to within 2, and then it was all them for the remainder of that third period. All them in overtime. 56 seconds into the extra frame, Jonathan Drouin scores his third overtime winner of his career in the Avs. 9 straight victories. Last time that they lost was Saturday, March 2nd at Nashville by a score of 5-1. They had rattled off 2 straight wins before that, including a 5-1 victory at home against the Dallas Stars. They'll take on the lowly Montreal Canadiens on Tuesday, and then there's a couple of tough ones to finish out this homestand. Thursday, March 28th against the New York Rangers, who sit 1 point ahead of the Avs in the race for the President's Trophy. Again, as I said earlier on the program, I don't think Colorado is chasing the President's Trophy. I just think they're playing really freaking good hockey right now. And then Saturday, March 30th, who knows if the Predators will have lost a hockey game by that time. But that could be a possible first-round preview, right? Nashville likely is not going to catch anyone in the Central Division spring. Just the Central's too far ahead of where Nashville is, although 88 points, man. They're just 5 back of Winnipeg, who's lost 2 straight and got shut out today against Washington, who's not a good defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville's probably wild card 1.
It's all just kind of falling for the Avs right now. Like, it was just a matter of time until Winnipeg came back down to earth a little bit, and that's starting to happen. And we haven't talked much about Alexander Georgiev today. And I'm sure there were people, blaming him in the first chunk of this game. Look, Connor Hellebuck allowed 3 goals today. Winnipeg couldn't help him out, though. I know it was a 4 for Georgiev, but look, what I've said all season long is that, and I'm not as big a Connor Hellebuck believer as you are, I just don't think the goaltending in the West is elite. So no matter what team you are, you're rolling in with questionable goaltending. Maybe Sands for Winnipeg, but they got to score in front of him. They didn't do that today. And Jake Ottinger needs to come into his own. He hasn't quite done that yet. So I'll put Georgiev up against anybody. I will.
There's two names. And I told you that the last time we did the show. It's Hellebuck and Saros in the West. That scared me. Saros is good.
Saros bailed out Nashville yesterday. They won 1-0 over the Red Wings. See, they might have that good goaltending. They don't have those horses like the Avs do in front of them.
No. And Philip Forsberg isn't, I know he's an Avs killer. He isn't anywhere near what he used to be. Ryan O'Reilly is not the Conn Smythe version of Ryan O'Reilly, but he's largely the same guy he's been his entire career, but he's not the peak. I would have liked to have seen the Puljujarvi goal back. I would have liked to have seen the Brian Rust goal back. But again, Georgiev made a show-stopping save on Rust right before he scored. He pushes to the back post. He just doesn't find a way to get the holder of his skate flush with the post in the ice, and it sneaks under a hole that just was non-existent. So maybe I could ask for the first two. But the Crosby tip in, hats off to one of the greatest players of all time for a great tip. And then the Pierre-Olivier Joseph goal, he couldn't see. So I would say half of the goals are on Georgiev and half of them are just hockey plays.
Do the Avs want to win the President's Trophy? I mean, I'm with you. I don't think they do, but they might. They might just by default end up winning this thing.
They might stumble their way into it.
But that thing's cursed.
Nah, I don't believe in curses.
Well, if any team could break it, it would be this one.
Curses
and
don't
someone
exist.
is going to win the President's Trophy and then win the Cup eventually. It's been many years since it's happened. It's been 20 years or something.
Hasn't it been since the Avs in 2000, 2001?
Did the Red Wings do it in the late 2000s?
The Wings may have done it. We've done this exercise a few
I haven't
times.
looked at it in a hot minute.
I know that the Avs
the 08
won it.
Wings might have been it.
I know that the Avs, so Boston, no. Florida, no. The Avs in 2021, no. Tampa didn't get it done. They were first-round exit in 2018. Did Chicago get it done?
Yeah, Chicago in 2012, 2013.
Okay, so Chicago's the last team to have done it, but that was a shortened season, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. So we're going on over 10 years since someone's won the President's Trophy and won the Cup.
I don't think they're going after it. I just think they're playing good hockey, and they might literally stumble into the best record in the NHL.
Yeah.
And it's not cursed. Nothing's cursed. Come on.
Well, hey, if they win the President's Trophy and they lose the Cup, that's my only explanation.
Chicago in 2012, 2013. Detroit in 2007, 2008. Detroit in 2001, 2002. Colorado in 2000, 2001. And all of this talk about it being cursed, in the 90s and early 2000s, if you were the number one team in the league, you did well. The Rangers did it in 93, 94. The Stars did it in 98, 99.
That was pre-salary cap. I think that explains more of that.
So post-lockout you're talking about?
Yeah. Just because you win the regular season in the parity era does not mean you are winning the playoffs.
There have been 2 Stanley Cup winners and 1 conference winner. Sorry, 2 Stanley Cup winners and 3 conference winners since the lockout in 04-05. Detroit won it in 07-08. Vancouver lost in the finals in 2010-2011, and I believe a 7-game series against Boston. And then Chicago won it 2012-2013. The deepest run out of any team in the last 10 years to have won won the President's Trophy that season was Tampa, who lost in the conference final in 2014-15 to it would have had to have been New Jersey in 2014-2015, either New Jersey or New York that year.
Yeah, New York won the President's Trophy in 14-15.
No team has advanced to the conference final since then. And there have been 2 teams to have lost in the first round, which was Tampa in 2018-19 when they got swept by Columbus, and then Boston last year when they got beat by Florida en route to a Eastern Conference championship.
I don't know. It's a little cursy to me, but I don't believe in curses. So
all right. Let's take a look through the NHL scoreboard this afternoon. Spring Avs 5-4 overtime win. The Capitals get 2 goals from Alexander Ovechkin, who's suddenly has a hot stick. 25 goals now this season. They shut out the Jets at home 3-0, and currently through 23 minutes, the Devils hold a 2-0 lead on the road against the New York Islanders. Bunch of games coming up tonight. The late one is Montreal at Seattle, Buffalo at Calgary, Tampa Bay will visit the Ducks. The Stars are on the road at the Coyotes. Those are the biggest games that you're looking at. Certainly the Dallas Stars against Arizona.
Are you on my Bet the Pipes pick?
I do. Are you betting tonight?
Yeah, let's make this real easy here. Let's go Arizona plus 180 at home against the Dallas Stars. It's just going to be an Avs day. Jets lost. Avs got 2 points. Penguins, an Eastern Conference team, got a point. We don't care about that. Arizona to beat Dallas. Let's complete the Holy Trinity today.
How'd you do on your bet yesterday?
I had the Leafs.
Yeah, you
and they won.
I did not have a good one. I had a 3-way bet that I think I reverse parlayed, and not great for your boy.
It wasn't so much that I had the Leafs. I bet against the Oilers. That's what I did.
All right, so Spring has the Yotes to win tonight. I've got the Panthers on the road covering the puck line -1.5, paying out at plus 170 to bounce back after the shootout loss to the Rangers. So Panthers -1.5 this evening. That puck drop is like moments away. So if you want to get that bet in, you have like 90 seconds. But that's going to do it for Mark Springer doing double duty. I haven't been here for way too many hours on a Sunday. My name's Alex Ryanemi. Next time that we will speak to you guys will be Tuesday evening as the Avs take on the Montreal Canadiens. Broadcast time starts at 6:30 p.m. Between the Pipes will follow at 10 p.m. For Spring, I'm Raj. Avs win a stunner. Nathan MacKinnon, 122 points, the most in a single season in Avs history. Well on the way to being the greatest Av ever to play the game. Tune in tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. for Brett Kane.
KKSE FM HD1 Broomfield, Denver, Boulder.
Hey Denver, it's Nate Kreckman.
Christopher Dempsey here.
This is Vic Lombardi.
Hey, it's Scott Hastings. You got Denver Sports Talk
on the station where you get it all.
This is Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.
It takes professional hockey players years of training and dedication to become so skilled at their profession that they make it look easy. The same can be said for the team at Plum Pros Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains. For over 20 years, Plum Pros has been providing Denver with good old-fashioned service, combined with the skill and expertise it takes to make their job look easy. For heating, cooling, plumbing, and drains, call Plum Pros today at 303-430-1911 or go to plumprosinc.com.
He scores! All hail Kale!
Come cheer on your Colorado Avalanche at Ball Arena. Watch as Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, and the rest of the team takes the ice and battles during the push to the playoffs.
Rantanen has it. He scores! The Moose is loose!
You won't want to miss the action. Get your tickets now at coloradoavalanche.com.
If you've lived in Colorado for a minute, you know all about the March weather. Has a plethora of personalities. In a single day, you can meet windy, rainy, sunny, snowy, sleety, and if you're lucky, sleepy, dopey, and bashful. Hi, I'm Alan Roach for my friends at Johnson Auto Plaza. The Johnsons specialize in trucks and SUVs that'll get you where you're going no matter the weather. And now that